I got the latest mail haul from CrawlerTrax today. I went with another grip kit because these things are phenomenal. I went with the Flippy Bridge. We're going to talk about the name of that here in just a little bit. And then they also sent me, I am so excited about this, they sent me a wave expansion kit to build off of the wave obstacle I already have. And they sent me the Frame Bender NXT. And I can't wait to get this put together. So that's what we've got on the bench today. I've got a stash of chip clips over here because we're going to use those to help with the construction. It'll make sense once we get into there. But I cannot tell you enough how excited
where are the chip clips at?
What?
Where are the chip clips at?
Where are the chip clips?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have them. They're not down here.
Okay.
Welcome to CK4RC.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm CK. This is CK4RC. We've got CrawlerTrax on the bench. Let's get to it. So first, I want to start off with a quick recap because one of the things that I had to order another set of was the grip kit. The only reason I had to order another set was not because I lost the first one or because they weren't good. It's because they weren't good. They were too good. I needed more. So I went ahead and I ordered a second set. Now, one of the things that makes CrawlerTrax such a smart design is the feet for every one of their obstacles is designed exactly the same. So, see, I got 2 feet. You can line them up. They are identical, which means that when you get a grip kit, these are pre-cut. There is a adhesive layer. You just peel the cover off, and then there's exposed adhesive. You stick it on. It's already pre-cut. It has the slots cut out for the obstacles to slide into, pop in place. And then this thing, it just locks right there on the surface, and it doesn't slide around like it does without the grip kit. So just a quick review about why I ordered more grip kits, because they're fantastic and something I'm going to experiment with. What if, to get the most mileage out of your investment with these kits, what if you only put a grip kit on one foot, because each obstacle has 2? So obviously it's a huge improvement if you have the grip kit on both, but what if you just have it on one? And then if you do it that way, does it make it more effective with the grip? And can you spread the wealth out over more obstacles that way and just save yourself a little bit of money? We're going to test that theory out. I don't know. I haven't opened these up. Haven't opened this up. That's what we're going to find out. So that's what we've got. That's first. Next up is the Flippy Bridge. Now they call it the broken bridge, and that's not wrong. It's a bridge, and it flippy flops, and it teeter-totters. So bridges, they don't do that. If you drive up to a bridge and it's this kind of an angle, you're probably going to tell yourself, ooh, that bridge is broken. That's why it's called the broken bridge. It makes sense. Some people call this a teeter-totter because when you're on the playground, this thing is a teeter-totter. And then you get like a fat kid that sits on it right there, and then you just get straightened up in the air, and then he hops off, and bam, you smash your can on the ground. Oh, just bad news from elementary school life. Whatever. I call it the Flippy Bridge because it's a bridge, and it flippies and it flops. Flippy Bridge. None of them are wrong. I like Flippy Bridge because I'm an idiot. They go with the broken bridge. That's probably what I should call it for, brand and all that stuff. Like, it's kind of a big deal. So we're going to get this thing out. I am super pumped to have the broken bridge because I have driven on a couple of these, and they're not easy to control whenever it slams down. If you are not familiar with how to maneuver that, it'll slam down, it'll flip your truck bottom over tea kettle. I think that's the same, something like that. Might use different words, but maybe you know what I'm talking about. All right, and then next up, we have the wave expansion kit. This is for a single wave obstacle, but when you combine it with the base wave kit that has 2 waves, this adds a 3rd wave. So now you've got even more terrain. You can pick a path And then you can offset it and do the thing and go up the hills and down them with the articulation. Does this do anything for you? Does that explain how it all works? That's just a nice visual prompt. That's what it is. That's not even a prompt. Just, words keep coming out. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. But yeah, so we got this one. This one should be super easy to put together, except for the track. This stuff is really delicate because, as you can see, so this is the girth. Remember that? We talked about the girthiness, the industrial aspect of the CrawlerTrax obstacles. And then you can see right here on top how thin that track is because of how intricate it has to be cut and how thin it has to be in order to be flexible to ride that wave. So that'll take the longest time, is just making sure that I get this snapped out without breaking anything. But that one will be a really nice addition to the wave and just add more options to whenever I'm running it. And then this is the feature of the entire video, the Framebender NXT, for the first time on YouTube. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm going with it. The Framebender NXT. The Framebender is probably my favorite obstacle. Really pushes the articulation and gets your truck off upset. This takes that to a whole different level. It's so much longer and the peaks and valleys are more extreme. I am really pumped about this because this is going to push my 18 scale crawlers way more than the base Framebender kit. And so I am super pumped to have this on my desk. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be the first YouTuber to have possession of it. So I got to get this thing built. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this thing around here. I'm going to start popping this stuff out. I've got some glue over here because, you know, with the chip clips and the wood glue, it's not even wood glue, it's Elmer school glue. Just school glue, that's it. What is this, arts and crafts? What? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because I'm going to pop out, we're going to make crafts, and it's going to be a thing of art. What do you think of that? Arts and crafts time coming up right now, and then we're going to drive on it. When was the last time you did arts and crafts that you could drive on? Well, if you've made obstacles before, that was probably the last time. Whatever. That's what we're going to do today. So, here we go. Okay, what we're looking at here is the Framebender NXT. I've already moved on to the second obstacle. I already put the wave extension together, and it took all of about 4 minutes and let's call it 43 seconds. That sounds fairly accurate. So let's go with that. Now, with this, try not to bump the tripod a whole lot. These graphics go a particular way. You just line them up with the wood to where, yep, that makes sense. It lines up, it fits. This one lines up right here. You can see with the shape of the wood, and they line up with each other. Boom, just like that. That is where those go. And so now we've got these pieces over here. It looks like this piece goes this way, this piece goes this way, and again, looky there, they slide right together like that. They fit the shape of the wood, and so that's where those go. I am going to take this white glue, good old Elmer school glue. It's nothing fancy. You can use wood glue if you want. That actually works really well as also. And then just go ahead and get you some on here. And then I'm just going to take my finger. I'm not going to do anything too crazy, but I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to smear this glue around to where it's going all the way to the edge. And I've got a nice layer here of glue. If you don't want to use your finger, you don't have to. You can find something else to smear it out with and do whatever you want. And the beauty about these about this line, about these products, is if you don't want to use the graphics at all, you don't have to. My first video, I was so anxious to get on the obstacles, I didn't even put the graphics on until sometime later. I am going to push it as close to the edge as I can, so that way the graphics get a nice seal around the edge, and that way it's not catching on tires and pulling up and getting ripped and torn and all of that. So just push it to the edge, get nice little base here of glue, and then I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to drop it down just like that. And now this part that's on there, it's that easy. Oh, it slid on me. It's okay. Slide it right back into place. Done. Just like that. Now I'm going to take this glue and I'm going to do it the same thing to this end down here. Put a nice little bead of glue all the way around the outline of the obstacle, just like this. And I'm still going to use this finger, a good old glue finger. That's what we'll call it. The good old glue finger. And push that edge down a little bit. Go ahead and smear this glue around. Now the build video, if you watch those from Sam, from actual CrawlerTrax staff, manufacturing staff, design staff, order fulfillment staff, I don't know. I don't know what their titles are, but they use like a tiny little paint roller, and that works out really good if you don't want to use a glue finger. So I'm going to drop this right on the shape right there where it goes, and that is where that goes and lines up. So I'm going to do the same thing with this other piece, and then I'm going to clamp these together with all those chip clips up there, and then I will show you why I have those, and you'll be able to see. It'll make a whole lot more sense. So bear with me while I get this other side glued down. I'll be right back. And there we go. I got glue on here. I got clamps on here. Now, honestly, I would really like to have way more clamps. And by clamps, I mean chip clips. Just to be able to really get these edges clamped down so this glue can set. Now, what you don't want to do when you're gluing this. Now, and guys, whenever I say what you don't want to do, make sure you listen, because when I say that, it's because that's exactly what I did, and I learned the hard way. So what you don't want to do with this is put a whole glop of glue on here and get it running all over the place. All you're going to end up doing is just making a giant mess. And so if you end up doing that, which, by the way, don't do that. I just told you, don't do that. White paper towels, water goes a really long way when you're working with school glue. So if you get too much, just wipe it off. It'll go away. So, but that's it. And then once this glue sets in a little bit, then we'll be in business, and I can just slap this bad boy together real quick and then start driving on it. That's what my truck's going to look like when I'm driving, and it's going to do this sometimes. Maybe a loop-the-loop. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out together. That's the wonder, the brilliance, the magnificence of YouTube. So let me get back to building, and then we'll get back to running. Get back to running? I haven't even started running. We'll get to running. Yeah, that's what we'll do. By the way, I haven't even mentioned it yet. I went with the classic Only RCs shirt from one partner while I'm working on obstacles from another partner. I just figured I'd represent. CK4RC Partners Unite. You know what I mean? I don't know if I should do that. I don't... Thick as thieves? I don't know. Only RCs. They make the shirts. They make the banners. They make the cups. They make vinyl graphics. They do good stuff. Just go to onlyrcs.com. You can see all they do. They make blankets. Ooh, it's coming up on winter time. Their blankets look phenomenal. Anyway, go get that stuff and then use my discount code that's down here in the video description, right in this area somewhere. CK4RC, it's what it is. It's just all spelled out. There's some capitals, there's some capitals, there's some lowericals. Whatever. Copy and paste it. Get the stuff. Save the money, 20%. That's how much you get to save. and then they know that you came from me, and then all that stuff happens. And then, yeah, so go do it. Go do it. Like, just finish this video, and if you want to watch another one, that's cool too. Just when you have time, go do that when you have time. Okay. I don't want to admit how long it's taken me to get to this stage. The broken bridge is a little bit more intense of a build than the other ones are, like all of the other ones combined. Now listen, I am not going to say this is a difficult build. It's not a difficult build, but it is more intensive than the others because the other ones are so simple. The Framebender NXT I got together in under 10 minutes. The Wave extension I got together in under 5 minutes. All of the other obstacles from the last video, seriously, they all took under 10 minutes. This one has taken longer than that. I didn't time myself. I spread it out over the course of a few days. But here I am. So I have the finishing touches on the broken bridge right here, the flippy bridge that I like to call it. Now this is supposed to kind of return itself. As you can see here, there are, see the washers on the bottom? Those are supposed to be kind of counterweights that is supposed to reset the bridge after you drive over it. That way the second bridge, or the second driver, can just whoop, take their turn over the bridge too. There's a little bit too much friction that I'm getting right now, and I think it's because I don't have things totally locked in place the right way. I do have the cross member all the way down, and that is supposed to help. It's really close to resetting on its own, but not quite completely. So what I'm going to do, if you watch the build video, and by the way, watch the build video, it's very important, especially with this one. The other ones are pretty simple, and you can figure those out pretty easily on your own. This one, watch the build video. This requires gluing a couple pieces together, and if you're not careful, you might punch those pieces out and throw them away because you don't even think that you need them. Not that I did that, but I might have had to dig a couple pieces out of the trash down here. But anyway, I have it together and it's working. Now the build video, Sam from Hanger RC uses a bar of soap to lube up the joint where the bridge platform meets the bridge support structure. Now he does that, the joints and anywhere there's going to be friction, just to free up that movement a little bit. Now you can see this one is pretty close, but just it's not quite moving totally freely. And if it goes all the way down that way, it doesn't reset. Now I don't have bar soap, and I'm not gonna lube it up with Dial spring, fresh spring body wash. I think that's just gonna make a big mess. So I'm not gonna do that. But I do have candles, and I think candle wax is gonna work just as well as bar soap. So I pulled the sticker off the bottom here. That way I can get a nice flat surface to be able to smear this on here. So I'm gonna pop this bridge deck off of here and lather it up real good with some candle wax in a very non-sensual kind of way. Listen, I don't know what you guys do in your free time. That is up to you. I don't even know why I had to bring it up, but I had to. And I did, and now I don't know how to get out of it. So I'm just gonna skip, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna skip ahead. So I'm gonna take this thing out. I'm gonna lather it up with some candle wax, get it back together, and then we'll see how the flippy bridge works after that. So I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna find a couple trucks, and we're finally gonna hit these obstacles and see what my trucks are made of. Okay, we got them all put together and ready to go. So first up in the next wave, the wave expansion, the next wave. There's my video title right there. Anyway, first up in the next wave is the wave expansion. So take a look at this. It is familiar wave obstacle, just a different terrain shape on there. But the feet they're extra long. So they do have 2 extra sets in here. So that way you can just take the existing wave and attach it wherever you want. And this is where the brilliance of their obstacle design comes in and their footprints, because I can put this, I can arrange this wherever I want. I just have to slide it in here, and you can see, like, I can move it here. I could line it up kind of perfectly with this one. I can offset it a little bit, which that's what I'm going to do. And then it just slides right down here into place right where it needs to go. I'm making it harder on myself because when I move things around, the feet slipped out of position. So now things aren't quite lining up as smoothly as they could and normally do. So this is a little error on my fault. I'm gonna go with that. I could smash it down a little bit more if I wanted to, but that's what we're going with. So now, as you can see, I have a 3-headed wave monster. And I can pick whatever line I want to run. So if I want to start over here, then I think I will. And see how the good old Red Bolt handles the wave expansion. Looky there, pushing that flex. Oh, look at that. That is a thing of beauty. And don't forget, I did upgrade my suspension in the Red Bolt not too long ago. I got rid of the telescopic double barrel dampening friction shocks, and I did finally upgrade to some good old oil-filled shocks, and they make all the difference in the world. But look how smooth this thing is riding over. But don't get it wrong, this obstacle is no slouch. No slouch! But yeah, you can pick whatever direction you want to go in. That's the beauty. This one's going to be even more challenging, I think. And we're going to see what the Red Bolt is capable of, because I'm going to push it. And yes, even though the lines are straight, steering is involved, because when you start flexing the suspension and the truck starts rolling and bouncing a little bit, it does get offline. So you do have to pay attention. You do have to steer. Look at that. It is pushing this truck to its limits. But because I'm such a champion driver, I managed to get through that. So that is the Wave Expansion 3-headed monster. Look at that bad thing. Whew. That's pretty awesome. All right, so moving on to obstacle numero dos. That's Spanish for 2, I think. I'm not bilingual, but I'm pretty sure that's right. The Flippy Bridge, aka the Broken Bridge. I probably need to call it what they call it, because that's how branding works and marketing. Anyway, I should note that this obstacle is adjustable, which means that you can change the angle on the bridge. There is another pivot point. So the pivot point right now is in the upper pivot point up here in this area. There is a lower pivot point down here in this area. And so all that does is it just lays out the angle a little bit more, the crawl angle. And it also lessens the severity of the flippy whenever that happens. So for younger drivers, for stock rigs, that lower pivot point will just simplify the broken bridge a little bit. I'm not doing that because I'm a glutton for punishment. So I got it in that upper pivot, and we're going to slam it. We're going to slam it like it's a 64 Impala. Guys, I don't know what that means, but here we go. All right, Red Bolt, don't make me look like a fool. We get up here. Now, look how high this thing is, and the bridge isn't flipping yet, but here in a second. It is going to start to go. Oh, it came off the table just a smidge, a smidgen, a skosh, a tad bit. Just an itsy bitsy. Ooh. And there's the slammaroo. And if you're not careful, if the weight on your truck's a little off, if it's sitting high, it'll go ahead and it'll flip that bad boy on over. It'll get you a little rear end over tea kettle. You know what I mean? We talked about that earlier, I think. And then we just drive right on off. And then once I get off the bridge, if I can, remember how I put that candle wax on there? It resets by itself. That's a great obstacle right there, brother. All right, on to the big guy. Here we go. The Frame Bender NXT. The first wave, my favorite obstacle in the first wave was the Frame Bender. The biggest complaint I had about that was that it was the shortest obstacle and the terrain didn't offer as many extremes as I would like. Look at this thing. Huh? It is, I don't know, probably twice as long. It's over there. I'll measure it here in a minute probably. The terrain is way more extreme. Let's see if the Red Bolt can handle this. Now, honestly, this is going to be a little bit more challenging for my 24 scale. The Red Cat Ascent, the Evo Pro, the Fury Wagon, the 18 scales, probably more suited for this obstacle because it's more extreme. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try with my Red Bolt. Now, currently, this is probably my best built truck. So if this one can't do it, then I'm in a little bit of trouble here with my building skills. Not to say that these obstacles are easy. They're not supposed to be easy. They shouldn't be easy. But if my best built truck can't do it, then I need to build better. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we've got a good mount. And that mount angle is way more severe as well. It's higher, it's steeper. Then we got this jagged angle right here that's kind of going backwards, pushing into the tire. All right. Now, here comes the dagger. That's what I call it. This little peak right here. I call it the dagger. I've never called it that before, but I think I'm going to start. CrawlerTrax. It's called the dagger right there. You're welcome. Oh, it pushed me off a little bit. All right, let's see if I can get a reset and see if I can come in a little bit better. There we go. All right, that is not easy. Oh, no! Oh. That was interesting. Well, that's a fail. Now, this one has an even more difficult mounting angle because it has a kickback right here very early on. So I'm really curious to see, do I have to like jump up here? No, there we go. Just have to let my tires bite. Oh, maybe I do have to jump up here for the rear ones anyway. I don't want to pull up the way the front ones did. Maybe I can't jump up there anyway. I'm going to try that one more time. See what happens. And this is what I'm talking about. The Frame Bender NXT. This is what I was wanting. This is what I was hoping for. This is not for the faint of heart. Wheel speed's working against me on this because it's bouncing me right off the obstacle. If I come in at an angle, does that do anything? And kind of steer my way up a little bit? Is my steering backwards? Didn't really notice that till just right now, but I think my steering's backwards. Okay, what I'm gonna say is these tires are dirty. The tires are just dirty. They don't want to get a grip, so I need to clean those off. That's what needs to happen. But I want to show you a little something. I'm going to spin this around. We're going to get a little bit of a close-up of this obstacle because there's something with this one that I think is really cool. It's a really nice touch. It's not super noticeable from this angle probably, but I want to show it off a little bit, just a little design feature. It has no impact on the performance of the obstacle at all, but I just think it's a neat little touch. And then I want to hold the regular frame bender up next to it, just so you can kind of see the difference in the terrain, the difference in the length and things like that. So let me spin this around and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so first things first, you can see this original frame bender is half as long as the new frame bender NXT. So I wasn't joking, it literally is half as long. And you can see, if I hold it up here, the terrain does not even compare. The highest peak on this is about as big as the medium peak on the NXT. And then you got the dagger that's just a whole flipping mountain over there. So the NXT is no joke. And also something you can do with these. And just another reason why I love the design of these, you can just kind of like intertwine these a little bit. I'm not going to do it right now. But if I wanted to extend this, I could kind of feed these into each other a little bit and just kind of stack the obstacles one after the other. I could put the pipeline down here at the end, and I could end up with a 15-foot long obstacle if that's really what I was going for. And maybe someday, maybe I'll do that. But the design feature I really wanted to show off on this, and then I'm going to get some better looking crawl footage so you guys can see this thing in action, is this last layer right here. So you'll see the frame bender, the first one, we've got 5 layers. See that back there? This one, we've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We count to 4. The 5th one is just a tiny little rock right here in front. Just a nice little design detail that gives a little bit of depth to the graphic. So you can see they added shading and things like that to make it kind of look as deep as they could. But just adding this 5th one, not only does it make the path more narrow and change the difficulty of the obstacle itself, it also just adds a little depth to the design, to the look of the obstacle. So that is a pretty cool touch, I think. So with that being said, let's see if we can get the red bolt online and get a little bit of crawl footage on here. As far as I know, my battery pack is probably about to die on me. So that's just another reason why the red bolt couldn't make this other angle. It's definitely not the truck's fault. It's certainly the tires, and man, it just wants to push me right off. That dagger is not easy. CrawlerTrax really did a number on the difficulty on the Framebender NXT. This is for real. You really have to. Oh, I am offline. Oh, come on, save. Nope. Oh, right offline. You see that happen though? You see it? It's pretty cool. All right, let's see if we can get a different angle of this mount right here. See what happens. I'm pretty sure we all already know what's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet, so it's probably just going to continue not happening. But let's just see. Try to take it nice and slow. Now this still is running a brushed Mofo Torque Beast 50, so there's no FOC, which really does it helps. It just makes a big difference. Really helps the control on the slow crawl. And I just can't seem to get the grip that I need to get the rear wheels mounted up over that. That's tricky. I'm going to have to experiment some more with that. So give it a little touch penalty action here and see what happens when we get to the dagger coming on this angle. Oh my goodness. Ah, no! Oh, it threw my whole truck off. Man, CrawlerTrax, this dagger is mean. Why'd you do that? By the way, I mean that as a complete compliment. I meant that as a complete compliment because these things, they shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be a walk in the park. And this one is proving right now that it is hardly a walk in the park. Goodness gracious. I'm also starting to get impatient now, and so my trigger finger is getting a little jumpy, getting a little froggy over here. And when I'm sitting on the back side of the camera, I don't have the best angle to see what's happening. But how about that for some crawl footage? Let's get a little bit of slow-mo action, huh? Oh man, these obstacles take indoor crawling to a whole nother level. The broken bridge is not for the faint of heart. The frame bender NXT is tough. So get your best built trucks ready. Get your 18 scale trucks ready because that's what this thing's gonna take. Your stock trucks, you might want to stick with the first wave of the frame bender and some of the smaller obstacles. This frame bender NXT, that's no joke. So don't kid yourself. Also, I'm not a good driver anyway, so that probably has something to do with it. But still, that obstacle that's legit, as the kids say. That's what the kids say. It's legit. I'm old, and I'm also an author, so I say it's legitimate. Anyway, that's it for today. Big time shout out to the Hangar RC, CrawlerTrax, those guys. I ordered the Flippy Bridge. They threw in the Frame Bender NXT. They threw in the Wave Expansion. Those guys are phenomenal. They've been helping me out so much just to help get the channel out there. I could not say thank you enough to those guys. Of course, Only RCs. Go to their website, use my discount code. I may have a discount code coming for CrawlerTrax as well. So if I get one of those, I'll drop it down in the description. Keep an eye out there as well. But yeah, stock up. Winter's coming. That's what I learned on HBO. Winter is coming. So stock up on the indoor obstacles, especially these ones that you can take apart, store them flat, and that's it. Now listen, some of them you don't want to keep taking apart. Like I'm going to tell you right now, the Wave and the Broken Bridge, probably don't take those apart a whole lot. They're more in depth and they've got some more fragile parts. So keep that in mind. But the Pipeline, the Frame Bender NXT, take those apart, store them flat, get them out of the way when it's not wintertime, baby. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, hit that quad factor before you go. Like, subscribe, comment, share, keep doing RC stuff. I'll see you next time.